everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host, Steve Malloy, and joining me, of course, you all know, Rob Mosley, a.k.a. Dolphin Thirsty. How you doing, Rob?
I can't complain. It's thundering here, lightning and thundering here in South Florida, but I'm in a safe house talking to you, so all is good here.
Good. That's good to hear. Good to hear, man. Hey, tell me what you got going on with Dolphin Chatter and in DolphinThirsty.com.
Well, DolphinThirsty.com, I had a popular article the other day just for fun because there's not much news coming out, but anytime there is Miami Dolphins news, make sure you check DolphinThirsty.com. But I had some fun trivia stuff up yesterday. Name all the Dolphins quarterbacks in the order that they appeared in games, starting with Bob Greasy and ending with Tua. I skipped a couple, but I put 12 quarterbacks at names that most Dolphin fans remember that's played for the Dolphins. So that seemed to be popular, got a lot of feedback. So if you guys want to see if you know your Dolphin quarterbacks well, go to Dolphins Thirsty and play the game. So that was fun. And then on Dolphin Thirsty here, we're growing. We just hit 200.
Congratulations.
The Real Fins Talk Network. Fins up, sorry. Real Talk Fins Talk on the Real Talk. Oh, my God. Real Fin. You know, I'm sounding like you, Steve.
Wait a minute.
The Fins
like
Talk
me?
Sports Network. Thank you. They helped me grow, get my Dolphin Thirsty YouTube network up and going. I just hit 200 subscribers, so life is great. That was easier said than done.
I hear you. I hear you.
You've got to be a pro at it. You've gotten to be
Yeah, I have. I've gotten better. You're right. I have gotten better. But also, since you did bring up the Fins Talk Sports Network, I would definitely like to thank the Fins Talk Sports Network, whom our producer and founder is Bobby Melendez. I don't say this often enough, but I thank him for allowing us to have a platform on this growing network, Fins Talk Sports Network. So appreciate that. For allowing us to have the platform, Bobby, and the Fins Talk Sports Network. Please, guys, I see you all in the comments there. I see Sky is the Limit has joined us. Thank you for joining us, Sky is the Limit. Appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors, and always remember, we may not always agree on everything Dolphins, but there is one thing we can agree on. We are all Dolphins. Yeah. All right, so let's get this show on the road. So we're going to talk a little bit about, number one, let's congratulate our Miami Heat. Heat, baby, Heat.
And Florida Panthers.
And the Florida Panthers, man. Both of them are going to be going into the finals. And, man, I know Finn fans and Miami fans, sports fans are just in seventh heaven right now. Now
no pressure on you, Dolphins, but the other teams are winning here in South Florida. So I'm on Dolphins. The one team that really drives me, that drives me. The other teams are, fun to watch, but the Dolphins are where our heart's at. So come on, Dolphins, get up there.
Absolutely. And I know we got OTAs going on, but the Dolphins seem to be very secretive this year. They're not showing a lot of video on Twitter, on the Twitter spaces. I don't know if that's good or bad, but they're not. But I know there's some folks that are standing out, and one of them is A-Chain, the running back that we drafted. He's been impressing in the OTA, so that's a good thing. Even though we got to keep everything in perspective, I know.
Of course,
but he is definitely showing up in Camp Smith as well. So there's been some folks that have showed out in camp. What have you heard anything on that front, Rob?
Like you said, it's very limited what's coming out. Javon Holland had the orange jersey on today on the tweet that the Dolphins put out. But I think tomorrow might be the day the media. There's only one day a week that the media is allowed to attend. So, and even then they give the media like instructions. You can't tell people where they're lining up. You can't say who's starting. So it's like top secret stuff. But at least you do get some leaks coming out. That when there's no film, they put what they want out there, so everything's going to look pretty. And I think they learn to make sure that all the passes look nice before they throw something. Because last year, they threw a couple passes, and it was like may have been a little underthrown, and that when oh my God, I can't believe a team would post that. So I think the Dolphins have learned. They're going to make sure, like they posted that where he hit Ahmed the other day perfectly in stride on a dime. So they posted that. I think they've learned their lesson, So I think, like you said, I think the video is more of them showing this having fun and doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I saw one of those passes that threw it to. It was a good pass, and of course, it was against one of the. I don't think it was a drafted player. I think it was a undrafted player that caught the pass. But guess who was covering him and fell down?
Who?
Iggy.
Okay, Iggy.
Number 9.
Oh, was that the Gay Wu, whoever caught?
Yeah.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Now,
so I don't know, man. I don't know about Iggy, man. I know he's made one good play that I've seen, and that was when
the game. I know.
Help us win the game. So maybe that's going to keep him through camp. Who knows? But anyway, to get on with the show. Now also June 1st is coming up, so we got some money coming. We have like 13.5 million or something.
Yeah, million comes available, and then you can even do more with extensions on some certain defensive tackle, not to be named, that we talk about almost every week.
Wow, I know. I don't understand it, man. I mean, there has been no kind of leaks whatsoever. Nothing about Christian Wilkins, even in talks about signing an extension, or Zeller or any of those guys. And Wilson. Wilson's been pretty quiet on the front too. I mean, what are we going to do with Wilson? You got to trade him. But that's what I think.
No, you got to trade him if you're going to. He's either going to be on your team, or you're going to trade him, or and that's it. And they're not even going to do a fake injury with him because it doesn't do you benefit. You still got to pay him, and he's against the cap. So he's either going to be playing for us, or he's going to be, we're going to trade him to some team that the receiver gets hurt during training camp. And you trade him for like a future 7th round pick at this point, because there's obviously no teams are beating down the door for his services under that contract that we owe him. So, hopefully, or he plays better and he steps up and really is a good contributor and helps the Miami Dolphins win. Of course, that's what we really want.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that would be great. The good thing is this will be his second season in the system. So that should help a little bit, right? I mean, for the whole team.
He's played well on the NFL level, so he can get the job done. It's just for whatever reason last year he didn't get a lot of playing time. Sherfield came in and got more playing time, and it's just he was supposed to be the third guy, and he just never really was the third guy. Now we got more bodies.
Actually,
now we got Barrios and Chosen.
We got
more bodies in camp.
Easy
step up though. He hasn't stepped. We can't say anything about him yet either because we don't know. I'm not going to knock him, but I'm not going to praise him because we don't know until we see him during the game.
Exactly. And going back to Wilson, actually Wilson was traded to Miami before we even heard of Tyreek Hill. So he was actually going to be maybe the second receiver first. Probably the second because Waddle was our first for sure. But, so I don't know. But anyway, we got June 1st coming up. We're going to get some money. It's going to be interesting to see what moves the Miami Dolphins make. It really is. But getting on to our topic tonight, I actually watched a take by Chris Simms, and I'm sure a lot of folks that are in Dolphin land or in the Twitter spaces saw it as well. It went, people were freaking out. They went crazy, oh my God, what are you kidding me? Oh, they're calling him all kinds of names and stuff. Well, he ranked Tua 21st. First off, let me put a disclaimer out there. I totally disagree with that ranking by Chris Simms. Now, I understand why he said 2021 because he took into account, and I would too, his injury history. So and games in December and things like that. So I got that. I wouldn't rank him 21st. In my humble opinion, I would say he's at least in the top 12.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought you were going to say 15. So
no, I would say 12. You can debate whether he's 12, 13, 14, even 15. But for me, I'll place him in the top 12. And I'll tell you why. Because even though Chris Simms made that comment, which I think was a little biased, he had some good things to say about Tua Tagovailoa, and he also had some good constructive criticism. One of the things that he said, and you can't debate this, I totally agree. Tua has one of the fastest releases or quickest releases in all of football. He has one of the quickest releases in all of football. Number 2, he plays that RPO just as well as Aaron Rodgers or any of those any of the other guys that play a type RPO. I think he plays better. He's got that system down pat. Number 3, so the system fits him well. Number 3, believe it or not, and I'm not comparing him to Mahomes, he can throw the ball any angle. He can throw the ball any angle. And he can be off balance. He can throw it. He can get it down there. He can throw it. He makes those type plays. Now, grant you, he's not a runner. He's definitely not a runner, but he can run the bootleg. He can run the play option pretty well. Like I said, the RPO. And there's also a lot of times we've heard Dolphin fans and folks in the media say that he has a noodle arm. Okay, he probably does have a below average arm, but it's not below average because of how you think. It's not because of the bomb. He can throw a deep ball. He can throw a deep ball. We've seen it. He can do that. The problem is velocity. He doesn't have a lot of velocity on the ball. So if you were watching the games last year and you saw Tyreek going out for a pass, or you saw Waddle going out for a pass, or any of our receivers, the ball placement was not good. He was underthrowing. You saw Tyreek, the fastest man in football, passing up folks in the backfield, and he had to come back for the ball. So what I'm saying is, and Waddle the same way. What I'm saying is he left a lot of TDs on the field. Instead of it being a TD, it was a 40-yarder or a 50-yarder or a 30-yarder. And that's fine. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying he left a lot of TDs on the field. And in a case in point, if you remember the Green Bay game, and he's done it a few times. He done it to Sherfield when he played. Remember against San Francisco, he threw that ball a dime while he was running, and he ran for it.
Play of the game.
He ran for a touchdown, but then you didn't see anything after that. He threw the one to Waddle across the middle. He threw that play all year, except it was either underthrown or the ball placement wasn't good, or it took a while for the ball to get there. That's the problem. But Waddle still made a play. They still got 15, 20 yards, which could have been a touchdown like the one you saw in Green Bay. Because we got some speedsters. We got a track team on the Miami Dolphins. If you can get them the ball on the fly while they're still running, they're gone. Nobody's going to catch them. That's the only thing that he is not going to be able to fix that. He's not going to be able to fix the velocity. What he will be able to fix, and I know I'm talking a lot, and I'll let you get your take. What I do like is what McDaniel is doing for Tua this year. I know everybody's laughing and joking and thinking stupid, and it's embarrassing for him to have the camera on his helmet. I think it's genius because Tua, that's something that Mike McDaniel and him can work out together on the reads, on his reading the defenses, because that's one of his weaknesses as well. That he can improve on. Right. That he can improve on. And so I'll just leave it at that. And I got a few other things we could talk about as well. But what's your take on that, Rob?
No, a lot of what you said is true. There are some flaws in the game. But as far as like people ranking them, because you saw a few different people's lists that, didn't. I mean, one of his biggest fan, I don't want to mess his name up, but it's like that Orlovsky or something. Didn't even rank Tua in near the top or whatever. But that's fine right. Because I don't even care if they do name him one of the top. It's not going to matter until the regular season. That's what I just like when we did our schedule release show, and we were talking about, it's a hard schedule. But I'm saying it doesn't matter. That's based on last year. We don't know what this year has in store for us. And like I said, I don't care. I'd rather be under because bringing up, you mentioned the Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers. They were both 8 seeds. Everyone was like just counting them. And they've done nothing but win and got all the way to the finals. So all the talking we do and everyone like, doubting the Heat, we're like 3% chance to beat the Celtics. 3%, not 25. I knew it. I don't even follow, as you know, I don't follow the Heat that close. But my point is, all these big, just like us, but we admit we do it for fun. And it's just, if these guys get paid big money to be the talking heads, and they all love to put these lists, but they don't know any better than what we know. Other than they get the big salary, just make people think that they know. So they put out, because none of us are going to know. So they get out there this year. We're out there in LA playing the Chargers in game 1. If this team, we're going to start knowing then. That's the first report card. Then, you got a 17 report cards, 16 more after that one. That's when the real grades come in. How are they doing then? Then if you're getting winning grades in the first 10 games of the season, it really becomes tougher to win games, as you know, in December. That's where I want to get. So, yes, I agree with you on some of the flaws. He doesn't have the strongest arm. If you want that, you're not going to get that, But, a great quarterback. I mean, there's been guys that's had great arms that sucked that quarterback. Ryan Leaf, who's a great analyst. I like hearing him talk now, but he's an all-time bust, but he had a rocket arm. Jeff George.
Absolutely.
Jeff George. Rocket arm, but doesn't mean you're going to be a good quarterback. Drew Brees does not have a rocket arm, but he gets the job done.
Right.
So there are different ways to win in football, different ways to get there. Tua's biggest ability, as we always say, is availability. It's just been his biggest issue. If he stays available, this Dolphins team, I think, can win with them. They not may win because of him, but they can win with them. And I think that's where we are at in his career. He's not going to be a Dan Marino that can say, "Here, come on, boys. The defense sucks. We have no running games, and they're blitzing in on me every 2 seconds, but I'm still going to sling the ball down the field and hit you in stride, and go win a game 45-43. We don't have that in him. But if everything else, if the defense steps up like we're hoping, with Fangio and all the defensive guys that we got playing under his defense, and then the running game improves, McDaniel gets the play clock management settled down. McDaniel should know now, don't abandon the running game. That's going to help Tua, not hinder him. And then do a combination of the dink and dunks. And just when teams are thinking, we're going to step up and do that, then boom, he does have enough arm to get the ball down the field and beat the defense deep. So, yes, does he have some weaknesses that unfortunately we have to work around? Yes, but almost any player in the NFL, there are some weaknesses unless you're Patrick Mahomes, and very few after that, because him and Josh Allen, he has some weakness. He's not the most accurate, and he tends to not play other than the one playoff game when him and Mahomes are going at it epically. He's had some bad stinkers in the playoffs, so you can work with him and work with him to win. And that's the biggest thing. But yes, does he have the strongest arm? No, he does not have the strongest arm. Is he the best at processing the field? According to some people, he does it okay. According to other people, he doesn't. I'm not sitting there breaking it down in a film room to say how many reads should he have looked at and how much time he had. But, when he does hit someone in stride, he's very successful. So let's just work with that. Try to get that style of offense where you get those patterns that you get, boom, you get someone in stride, then worrying about, wait, let him get downfield, and then try to step into it when someone's coming at you, and then you don't get all your arm into it. So I agree with you, but I still think he's good enough that we can win.
Yeah, those are fair points. And I agree with you. He's not going to be the guy where he's going to be forcing the ball downfield like he did last year. That's not working for him. And I've been talking about this before in some other podcasts. All he's got to do is dink and dunk, 10, 15-yard passes, 8-yard passes, 10-yard passes to your running backs, to the tight end, small little dink and dunk passes. Let your playmakers make the plays. That's all he needs to do, because a lot of teams figured it out last year when he was throwing downfield. They put everybody. They had a lot of stuff to be afraid of, not because of Tua really, but they were afraid of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mostert in the backfield, all speedsters, all the play action, all the moving around. They didn't know what they were going to do. They were in the beginning of the year, they were keeping folks off balance. But then towards the middle of the year, they caught on to what Tua was doing, and McDaniel did not adjust to it. Now, this year, I think he will. He's going to have to. The good thing is we got Vic Fangio. Our defense. Now, there's no evidence of that yet, but I would say that our defense should be better this year, a lot better than it was last year, and that should help Tua a lot, and it should help if Tua gets some help from his running backs.
Right. No, I agree. And Abba, no, we're not actually complaining about Tua at all. If you joined earlier, you would have Steve put him in there. You say top 10, but Steve had him right up there in that range at the top 12. He had Tua in there. So we're not complaining. We're just saying that there are things that he's not going to have a rocket arm, and there are things, but we both think we can win with Tua. So we're not really complaining about him at all. We're looking forward to having him play this year. It's just we're talking kind of what the national media has been saying about him. And one guy put him at 21st. And if you would have joined us early, you would have seen that Steve did have his back saying that, there's no way Tua's a 21st best quarterback. And welcome Flipside Fishing. I don't have my.
You had it right. Flipside Fishing. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I think and guys, if stick around a little bit, Flipside, you can join our show. We'll drop a link in a little while. And
actually, we can drop the link right now. And if folks have an opinion or they have a take or a difference of opinion, that go ahead and join us and let us know how you feel. And we would love for you to join the show. Bobby will drop the link.
There it goes. Yeah, it's already 7:53. I didn't know we. Man, Steve, you're on such a roll tonight. I could take my pillow and go to sleep. So I don't even need to talk. But it'd be great to have some of you guys come in. Always
absolutely
great to roll our Dolphin networking together. We love you guys. We're diehard fans of nothing else. Like Steve always says, we may not agree on how we want the team to win, but the good thing is we always want them to win. So, and it's just a good fan base. It's loyal to the core.
Yep, absolutely. And please like, subscribe, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors, and we thank you, AB. I hope I'm saying that right. I appreciate you for joining. I see Flipside Fishing. Appreciate you joining us tonight as well. You're welcome to join in. The link's down there. You can join in if you have an opinion or take on what we just said. Appreciate it. We'd love to have you. I see Andrew has joined us tonight. Thank you, Andrew, for joining us tonight. Andrew says, who is Chris Simms? He is a washed-up quarterback that never nothing in the NFL. They ask about anybody. Well, look, I'll tell you who he is. He played NFL quarterback. It doesn't matter if he was good or he was the greatest quarterback. He knows what he's talking about, and he's spot on. You can't debate what he said about Tua.
Spot on. You just said you don't agree that he's 21.
No. I'm talking about evaluating his play, not his ranking. I said his ranking is in the top 12. It's debatable. Some folks say 13, 14, 15. That's debatable. I put him in the top 12. But I definitely disagree with his 21 ranking. That's just bias to me. But, Chris Simms had made some good points. But moving on. Flipside Fishing says, I'm actually watching while eating dinner with the family. Thank you for the invite. Flipside, no problem, man. No problem. Next time we'll always have put that link down there. We don't do it all the time, but you'll have another opportunity.
And Abba, you're welcome to join too, man.
Absolutely.
I say, Steve has Tua's back. Okay, laugh out. But he would like to say he did put him at 12 is what I mean by his back. He didn't put him though at 20, anything like that. And he does believe Tua's good enough to have us win football games this year. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll get to that later in the show.
Yeah.
But also I wanted to get to another point that I liked, what Keyshawn Johnson, wide receiver. Now you can't tell me he stunk, but I'm only pulling your leg, man. I'm just messing with you. I appreciate your comments, man. And we can agree to disagree for sure. But anyway, Keyshawn Johnson made a really good point, and he was talking about what Dan Orlansky said, the former quarterback as well. He said that the Dolphins' offensive line needs to protect Tua better in order for him to have a good year or to be, stand up and throw the ball. And Tua was the least pressured quarterback last year. We tend to forget that.
Yeah, but we say least pressure, but we also had the Dolphins had one of the worst pass protection. So there's so much misinformation out there.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is he was making a point that maybe, and I'm not giving this quote to quote what he said because I don't remember, but I do get the gist of what he said. Basically, what he was saying was Dan Orlansky was saying that the Dolphins' offensive line needs to get, maybe they don't have the right players in place, including Terron Armstead, including Robert Hunt. They don't have the right players for the scheme that Mike McDaniel is trying to produce here in the with the Miami Dolphins. No. And he says that if you do look at the film, if you go back and look at the film, you can do YouTube right now and go to the film, Tua getting hurt. You can see where there were missed blocks. There was a lot of green with these rushers were coming in to get Tua. So he might have a point there. But here's where I have a tendency to disagree. You can have the best line in all of football. Kansas City, right? Other teams. New England used to have the best offensive line in football. Did Brady ever get sacked?
Not often. No.
He did, though. He got sacked.
Of course he did, but not often.
So you are not going to be able to protect your quarterback 100% of the time. You're not. There's somebody always is going to make it in there, always going to, make a move.
The Dolphins' offensive line had one of the worst pass rush win rates last year of all the lines in the NFL. So.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
there is that side though that is a reality.
Yeah. No, you're right, and that's a fair point. But what I'm saying is, you can't. I don't care how good your line is. Your quarterback's going to get sacked. He's going to get hit. He's going to get hit blindsided. He's going to get hit if he has to take off and run. Okay, which we don't want Tua to do. Well, if he does run, please slide. Please slide.
Brady became human, like when Jason Taylor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Became human because no quarterback, I don't care how good you are,
you
don't like pressure. So
exactly.
So it's just
exactly. So he made a good point. Keyshawn Johnson disagreed. He said, "No, you're not going to have a perfect line. There's somebody is always going to get in. You're not going to be able to protect your quarterback 100% of the time. Can you protect him better? Yes. It's the game of football. You're going to get hit. Okay. Let me give you an analogy. I'm a boxer. I used to box a lot. I don't box now. I stopped about 2 years ago. I'm 60. Going on 64, and I was boxing up until 62. But here's the analogy. When you first learn how to box, what do? You have to learn your footwork first. Then, the most importantly, of course, is your jab. Everybody thinks the jab is an offensive weapon. No, it's a defensive weapon as well. So you got to learn the jab. You have to be a real proficient in your jab. I practiced my jab thousands and thousands and thousands of times. I had a really good jab. Also, you have to have a good defense. You have to block. You have to parry. You have to weave. You have to bomb. You have to do the Philly shell like a Floyd Mayweather. Okay, something like that, right? You got to learn a good defense. He was a good defensive fighter, but he got hit because it's part of the job description. Same in football. You can do all kinds of jiu-jitsu, which I have a little bit. I've done some groundwork when I was in the military and all that kind of stuff. So I know what it is to fall on my ass. I know what it is to get punched in the face. I know all that. Okay. Jiu-jitsu is not going to save him when he gets hit by a 340-pound lineman that's running a 4.540 from the blind side. Sorry, it ain't going to happen. Or when 2 or 3 guys are going to try and hit him. It ain't going to happen. So all that jiu-jitsu crap is a joke. It's good. It's good for him to learn it. It's going to make him build his confidence up a little bit, and he might be able to get build more strength, his leverage, and things like that. But it isn't going to stop him from getting hit. So Keyshawn Johnson, I think, made a good point. This is football. He's going to get hit. So I totally disagree that.
What's a good point, man. Everyone knows that's ever watched 1 Minute Football know you're going to get hit, and he's getting paid big money to say that.
But you got folks out here that believe that jiu-jitsu is going to save him, and he's going to be great, and he's not going to get hurt.
It's going to save him. I think
you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
It's going to help him, maybe fall on some of those hits, like the Milano one. That would have helped him because he would have been able to fall without, banging his head. He would have been able to keep his neck up and stuff like that. So in instances like that, the Cincinnati game, that's not going to help him when he's getting slammed to the floor. But in the Milano one, when he just kind of pushes him after he throws the ball, instead of having his head go boom, if he learns to keep the head up. So yes, it maybe could help. So that's why I say, to me, it's not
in an instant like that, one-on-one where he might have saw it coming. Yeah, that's a good point. It probably could have helped him. But my point, Abba, or ABAB, my point is that everybody is so concerned about this offensive line. I used to have that same feeling. Had big concerns about the offensive line. Yes, can it be improved? Yes, it can be improved. Can he get better protection? Yes, he can get better protection. But this is the game of football, and sooner or later, somebody is going to come in there and he's going to get hit. So, I'm just praying that he doesn't get injured this year, because here's a good positive, because I feel if Tua can be consistent, if he can be consistent throughout the year, and he doesn't even have to play all 17 games. If he only plays 13 or 14, he gives me 13 or 14 good games, of consistent play, we can go to the Super Bowl.
Right. And that's
bottom line.
Right. So, okay, there you go. So Steve's ending here not ending as 8:03. If any of you guys want to join, please do join the show. But yes, there is a good chance that we will be a good team if he stays healthy and the Dolphins play up.
No, it's not a chance. Yeah. If Tua can stay consistent, and he doesn't even have to play 17 games, 14, 15 games. A lot of quarterbacks miss 2 or 3 games a year. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
If he can stay upright, play consistent, and McDaniel can adjust and run the ball more with our defense, with Vic Fangio now in the house, I think we're Super Bowl bound. There's no doubt in my mind. We've got one of, if not the best roster in football, and we'll never have another opportunity to have a roster like we have today.
It's stacked. I mean, but we're also in a very competitive AFC and in a very competitive AFC East. So just because you have a stacked roster doesn't mean anything. But I agree with you. We have a good chance to win. That's why I'm optimistic going into the season. But it's all going to really matter when we go out there, game 1, out to Los Angeles and play the Chargers on the road to open the season. And we're going to have a good taste of where we at. Could we have a bad game and then roll off 7 in a row? Of course. But it's going to give you a good chance. So all this talk and all this fun that we're doing now is all for fun. I love it. That's why I still roll on my shows 3 days a week on my network. I come here every Tuesday night to talk, so I can always talk Miami Dolphins football. I got DolphinsThirsty.com, talk about the Miami Dolphins. But really, in reality, it's not going to matter until the first game next year, and we're going to start getting a taste of where, because the Jets fans right now, they're all saying they're Super Bowl bound. Bill fans, Chiefs fans, Cincinnati fans, Raven fans, and any other good team in the AFC East that I might be forgetting. There's a lot of good teams out there. I think Bronco fans are getting cocky now. And they got Sean Payton coaching, and they got Russell Wilson in his second year. So there's everyone fan base. This is what being a fan is fun. This is the time of year you're supposed to pump up your team, be ready. Then when the season starts, it will break your heart if it doesn't go the right way. But at this time of year, it's a year that you want to go out there and support your team, say they're the team to win, and I just hope it comes to be. Man,
talk about me being a Debbie Downer.
You
just bursted my bubble, man.
I just said be optimistic.
I know. You should be sitting here, and I should be over there.
I'm just saying there's a lot of good teams, though. There's a lot of good teams, and just because we don't win doesn't necessarily mean we aren't a good team. It just means there were teams that built better than what we built.
Yeah.
So that's how football is.
Yeah, you're right. Kansas City is going to be a tough team to beat. But hey, you never know, man. You never know, and you've talked about this on the show several times, Rob. where, everybody's projecting, oh, Miami's got the second toughest schedule in all of football and this, that, and the other. We don't know how things are going to pan out in week 10 or in the NFL. The teams that we thought were on the up and up might be on the down. And the teams we thought are on the down might be on the up.
No, I agree.
So
that's why I never put much weight in the off season. It's fun. It gives us something to talk about. It's exciting to know because we already knew who we're playing. We just didn't know the win and how they were going to we knew we were obviously going to play the Jets at home and on the road. We just didn't know when. Then boom, it comes out. We're going to be playing on Black Friday. So stuff like that is cool. I love it. But yeah, you can't sit there and really say who's going to win because we don't even know. Someone could be hurt that week on the major. Their best player could be hurt, or one of our good players could be hurt. So many things happen during the season that you never know. And yes, Anthony, you're not always going to have the clean pocket, and you need to play well. And when you don't, and you still got to make your reads, and that's what they get paid the big bucks. Quarterbacks. That's why they get the glory when they win and the blame when they lose because they get paid the big bucks. And they're made to make success during those plays. So I agree. Sometimes you overanalyze, the pocket and this and that. But if it's a consistent thing where you're consistently getting pounded, I don't care what quarterback you are.
Oh, absolutely.
Good. But
totally agree.
Occasionally you got to throw in a busy, dirty pocket. You're not always going to have that perfect pocket because the team's going to find that hole eventually during the game. So you're going to have to make that throw. But yeah, if it's every single play, then you're not going to have any confidence back there because you're going to get killed every play.
Yeah, so. But Anthony made a good point. That's a good point by Anthony, and I appreciate you saying that, Anthony. But here's the thing about Tua Tagovailoa. There were a lot of times last year, even though he is the least pressured, he didn't have a clean pocket, and that's one thing about Tua. A lot of folks don't realize Tua is pretty athletic. He may not be the fastest quarterback in the world. He may not be the best runner, but he's athletic, or he wouldn't be in the NFL, right? But he can make those plays. He can make plays from any angle, and we've seen it last year. He can make it off his foot. He can make it underhand, over, whatever. He can make those angles to compensate for that pocket that isn't clean. So that's what I'm saying about Tua, man. We can win with this guy. We can win the Super Bowl with this guy if Mike McDaniel can adjust to the play from last year. He's got to pound that rock more. I mean, when we pounded the rock last year, we were doing pretty well, even with a crummy line, right?
No,
everybody's saying it's a crummy line. We were still running the ball pretty well.
No, we did. We were good yards per carry. I mean, we were doing well. We sometimes abandoned it for whatever reason. We would never know. McDaniel hopefully has learned because, it's fun. You get a guy, you got like Tyreek Hill, you got Waddle. It's hard not to want to get them the ball. So, but I think he's learned and said, okay, maybe I was a little too hard.
Manzano is in the show.
All right.
Hey, Anthony.
Speak, Anthony, and forever hold your peace.
Yeah. Hey, Steve. Hey, Rob. How are you guys today?
Doing great. How are you?
Thank you.
I'm doing well. Hey, Steve, I have a question. I never got your answer to my first question for you guys. Who is the best young quarterback? The best young quarterback in terms of not having a clean pocket and having the highest completion percentage where he has less than 3 seconds to lose.
I say Joe Burrow is pretty good.
Joe Burrow's damn good. Yeah.
Herbert.
But you know what? I know people are gonna hate me for this, but and he didn't play enough games to really evaluate a full season. We'll see this year. Unfortunately, he got hurt. Hopefully, he comes back from it. Brock Purdy.
Brock. I'm gonna say Justin Herbert, maybe.
Justin Herbert, but young quarterback, when you were talking young, I should have asked, you meant someone like first year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. But definitely.
In general,
definitely. I would say Joe Burrow for sure, as Rob said.
Would you, even though he's been in the league a while, he's in his mid-20s, would you consider Matt Mahomes a young quarterback?
Oh, Mahomes is still young, but I wouldn't put him young because he's accomplished already. He's
No,
that's young, what I'm talking about. In terms of age, would you still consider him a young quarterback? or would
Oh,
you
sure.
be more of a
Yeah,
veteran?
of course. But
Oh,
he's so
sure, of course.
accomplished, it's easy to forget
Yeah.
that he's still young.
Yeah,
He already
Yeah.
has 2 rings and been,
he's a quarterback that puts fear in defensive eyes. Okay, he does, especially throwing that long ball.
People say honestly, in terms of talent wise, he's probably the closest thing to Marino in the league.
Yeah. Oh, he
Man,
might,
I would say he might be better.
Yeah, as far as some stuff, yeah.
Take away just the arm talent and arm
talent. Yeah, then he's right up there because I thought you were going to throw the scrambling ability and whatever.
Yeah, no. To me, he's a mixture. With the scrambling, he's a mixture of Marino and Elway. To be honest,
yeah,
with that scrambling ability. To be honest,
no, you're right.
He's another one. He's another guy quarterback. Of course, he's the best at throwing them at different angles and things like that, and improvising on the run.
I mean,
a lot of older fans, Steve. I'm not sure if you remember who this was. A lot of older football fans compare him to Fran Tarkenton.
Who to Fran Tarkenton?
Mahomes.
Mahomes?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Fran Tarkenton was a small guy, man. He was like 5'11", 180 pounds.
No, the foul play. Taking away the height.
But he was a scrambler, yeah. And for that matter, you want to talk about scrambling, Bob Greasy could scramble in his day. Yeah. He was a good scrambler.
Yeah, and Steve, to me, I think our fan base is looking too much into that jiu-jitsu thing because in the heat of the moment, I really don't think that's going to work. In the heat of the moment, when you're getting bared down by a 270-pound defensive pass rusher or a 350-pound defensive tackle, what's jiu-jitsu going to do to you? And I don't think he's strong enough to push those heavy guys like that off him.
Well,
and all this talk about people putting in, I don't get it because both you and Anthony now are saying, people are saying jiu-jitsu is going to. I have never seen anyone said it's going to change much of anything.
You see it all the time on Twitter Spaces.
For me,
I don't do
that type of martial arts discipline to me, Steve, would help a pass rusher more than a quarterback. In my honest opinion, that discipline
making up stuff. Show me the document that says.
Actually, I was talking head that said that. I can't remember. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he's on the list to be a Hall of Famer. Aaron Schobel said if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu, he wouldn't be as good as he was.
Who?
Aaron Schobel, the old Buffalo Bills pass rusher.
Really? Oh yeah. I did hear something like that. I don't remember if it was him or not, but I did hear something like that. Yeah, it kind of helped him a little bit. I can see a defensive tackle or someone like that, maybe. Any kind of martial art is going to help you. I mean, it's going to make
But in terms of certain positions, for me, jiu-jitsu really doesn't help the quarterback position because you're not really using your hands and stuff like that. You're only throwing the ball.
He's doing it for the falling thing. Yeah, but he's doing it to, learn. That's what they say. But it doesn't matter.
But here's the thing. If he wanted to learn how to fall, he should do judo or MMA or wrestling. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling especially now, the jiu-jitsu nowadays is, and if anybody knows anything about jiu-jitsu, they know Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is the best. And they still use defense. They still train self-defense. Where a lot of you go to your jiu-jitsu schools nowadays, right? It's a shame because they watered it down, and folks start on the floor. They don't even learn how to fall. I mean, a couple, falls here and there, but nothing like
he's learning. He could just be getting hands-on, professional, only for that one thing, how to fall. Because coming into the team's training facility at times.
Yeah, and honestly, I've said this on other platforms, and I said this with you on your channel with Justin. Yeah. I'm not sure if you agree with this, Steve. I understand he's going to have a bounce-back season because of the scheme, but to me, based on how he uses the defensive backfield, I think the safety position is going to be the one lead. I think Holland is going to lead the team in interceptions over the corner position.
Well, here's the thing. And Holland might very well be. But you know who's a real who I think is going to be even better than Holland, maybe, or even Brandon Jones? We're forgetting Deshaun Elliott.
He's going to be good.
He's going to start over Brandon Jones. Mark my words. Deshaun Elliott will start over Brandon Jones.
Honestly, I think we're going to have three. To be honest, I think we're going to have three safeties on the field. At
times, yes.
When does Brandon? Do we know when Brandon is expect? What is he going to be in? Starting at the beginning of the year, or does he his rehab stint thing?
McDaniel left it very open. He said that they're working diligently to get back, but there's no timetable on his return or Nick Needham's return. But they're he sees them every day. They're working diligently, but I think he's going to learn from like last year trying to put a timetable on Brian Jones, and it blew up. It blew up.
Byron Jones,
Byron Jones, and it kind of blew up in their face. So this year he's just playing it close to the vest, and he said they're working diligently every day. I see them; they're out here every day, and they're working to get back. But I'm not going to set.
Yeah, and I also said this, Steve, too. I think to be honest, because of the fact our two running backs tend to have a history of getting injured at the worst time, I think A-Chain starts the season as our starter and stuff like that. And I think they're gonna move Ramsey to that start position permanently. And I think Cam Smith is gonna start the season as our boundary corner on the other side of Xavier and stuff like that.
Yeah, you might be right. Let me acknowledge AB. He said something when I was talking about too, and I agree with him 100%. He said that least pressured. Is that because Tua gets rid of the ball fast? I would say it contributes a lot to him getting the ball fast. In fact, Rob and I talked about this last year or one of the games that he was playing, that he does get the ball out fast, so he does help out that offensive line. So you're definitely, I believe, you're definitely right on that.
Yeah, and I've said this multiple times also, Rob and Steve. To me, the point of an elite quarterback, if you have a serious deficiency on your offensive line, the point of an elite quarterback is to cover up that deficiency and stuff like that. And to me, I've said this. I'm not criticizing the kid, and this is not a slight on him. To me, he's in the middle of the road, right? For me, Tua, in terms of talent, he's in the middle of the road, around 13 to 20.
So why do you say he's in the middle of the road? What makes him the middle of the road? What can you give a little, elaborate a little bit more on why you think?
What I mean is, he's the type of quarterback. He's like a Kirk Cousins type quarterback where he's going to get you to the promised land, but he's going to get you to the playoffs, but he's not going to actually get you over the hump and stuff like that.
Well, I agree. I think you make a good point. That's a fair point, but we don't have any evidence of that yet. I think this year, you make a good point, Anthony, don't get me wrong, but I think this year is going to be a prove-it year for Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, no, and Steve, no, the reason why I say that he's not going to get into the playoffs either is because look at his track record late in the season. When we get the last few years going into the playoff runs, he doesn't show up. He does not show up. Do you agree?
No, I agree. I'm just saying that and I just listed what he needs to do, and for the team, for that matter, what they need to do if they're going to be Super Bowl bound, and that is Tua has to stay healthy. He has to play consistent, right? McDaniel's going to have to help him out because he is never going to be elite. He's not going to be a Mahomes. He's not going to be a Justin Herbert as far as a quarterback play is. I'm not saying a winner. I'm saying quarterback play, his talent-wise. He's never going to have
hero ball. He can't be playing hero ball.
He's going to just have to play Tua ball. He's going to have to be a game manager. He's going to have to just play to his level, throw that dink and dunk because he's a master of that. He was a master of that, and I'm sorry they broke away from that last year because he was a master of that the year before that. I mean, he went the complete opposite, and you see the results.
Yeah,
but if he can do that, if he can measure up to those what I've just said, then I think we are, regardless of how anybody feels about him as being the talent wise and what he can do and what he can't do, I still think we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, no, and
Abba,
Steve,
I don't
I've
think
said this
anyone
too.
said that Herbert's better than Burrow. I know I didn't. I much rather have.
No,
Burrow.
I didn't
And
say
for
that
me, when I
either.
look at Tua specifically, too,
I
talent-wise,
think Anthony brought up Herbert first, but I don't think he said. You don't think Herbert's better than Joe Burrow, do you?
no.
Okay.
No, I'm
All
not
right.
saying
I just wanted to make sure.
he's in the Herbert, based on his stats the past few years, I'm not taking away the wins. He's in the top 10, but he's not the top 5.
Okay.
Herbert is in the top 10.
And where do you put Burrow? Like top 5?
He's it for me. The top 5 are Mahomes, Rodgers, based on his longevity in the league.
Right.
Like the Burrow at number 3.
Okay.
My God, Lamar Jackson.
How about Josh Allen? Where does he fit in?
He's number 5.
Number 5?
Josh is
Okay.
Yeah. And to be honest with me, with Tua specifically, everyone thinks I criticize. I hate the kid. I don't hate the kid. I want him to be successful, but
Me too.
yeah, no. And then I get bashed for criticizing him multiple times, saying there's limitations with this kid, that he can't be playing hero ball all the time, like constantly relying on the deep ball. He needs to be he needs to be elite in the short to intermediate section of the field. He can't be a deep, because he doesn't really have deep ball accuracy, consistent deep ball accuracy.
I agree.
I've noticed
Steve,
this
we'll
with
get
Tua
private
when he.
chat. We got to roll, guys. We got to roll. Bobby
Okay.
Hey,
And
guys.
Steve, before I go, this is what I'm going to say with Tua specifically. What I noticed with his deep ball, he tends to loft, like have too much air, and that's when the mistakes happen, because the defensive backs tend to have a ton of time to react, because he has so much air in the ball instead of zipping. He doesn't have the arm to zip it.
Right.
On
You're
the
right.
line.
Point, Anthony.
you're
Well, I hate
right,
to
Anthony.
cut you guys off, but we got to run. Hey, guys, if you want to talk Miami Heat next, go to that show. They're going to talk about Miami Heat. I'm sure if you want to bring up Dolphins talk, Bobby and AJ will talk Dolphins talk. So make sure you
Have a good
like
day,
and
guys.
subscribe.
Hey, thank you, Anthony. Thank you for joining
Adam.
us.
Anthony, thank you. Abba, and who else came in here tonight?
We had
Anthony,
Adam.
like you said. So, and the flip side. What was his name? Flip
Side Fishing, and we had Adam in here as well.
Yeah.
So
thank
we
you,
appreciate
guys.
all of you for joining us tonight.
Dolphins #1, man.
Oh, absolutely, man. So just, remember, guys, join us next week. We'll be on the same time, same station. Thanks again. And remember, man, Dolphins #1, baby. Dolphins #1.